Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's your boy, ex-DJ, ex-Phantom, aka the Goth MC. Welcome back to Talk 1000 Podcast. The new human revolution is the new mental revolution. And I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Told you. Bro, because it sounds so the same, bro. Like, I swear.
Yeah, no, I got you. For those of you wondering what the hell we mean by he got it wrong, it's the new mental revolution is the new human evolution.
Yep.
That's what we mean.
And that's a saying I made, dude, but I get it backwards a lot, man. Like, it's just the revolution, evolution. Sometimes I go evolution and revolution because it just flies out of my mouth. I think a lot of you are going to end up doing that. I guarantee you we won't be able to say that shit 3 times fast. Promise.
Yeah. Especially on a mic.
Yeah. Guys, this is the moment a lot of non-haters or curious people have probably been waiting for. Like I said, let's be real. You know who I am. You pretend like you don't know who I am when you see me on the street. You know who I am. See, the definition of schizo would fall into the place of the definition of delusion. Well, the true essence of delusion would pretty much revolve around 2 things. The first one being that your claims wouldn't be very vulnerable to evidence. The second is that people within your own culture don't share your beliefs. I don't just mean your specific culture, I mean within your generational culture won't share your beliefs. The only way that can happen is when you have not friends, but day ones. And I don't mean people that you were just born with, because that rarely ever happens. But we're talking to ones who knew you before the lies and before whatever was happening, smear campaign, in my situation in particular, people who knew me long before all of these rumors and a lot of fabricated shit. We're gonna get started. I want to introduce my boy Jay.
Alright, so as he said, my name's Jay. I go to COD right now, and I've been a witness to a lot of the shit that has gone down with him. And I've seen the group chats and the way they talk down to him and the kind of shit that they say. I've been a witness to that. And for the last 3.5 years, I've seen them continuously attack him, and they don't have anything. They don't have any sort of evidence to back up what they're saying. Meanwhile, he's out here making money. He's out here having creativity with the movie and the virtual reality podcasting. He's got contracts. We've got people we know at COD who are working with for the movie. We got, I think it's like 41,000 people who had listened to your music just on one website alone.
Within a few months, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a situation where it's kind of like the opposite of Diddy. A few people were saying he's doing this, and the minority of people ended up being right. This is kind of like the reverse, the mirror situation, where a few people are saying he's innocent. Look at what he's done. This is the type of shit that he's really on. And right now, what we're doing is bringing that shit into light, the evidence that what's really going on. That's the whole point of podcasting. That's why we call it Talk 1000. That's why we're saying it's real shit.
Exactly. It's going beyond real. It's going beyond real, because sometimes you might be a little too real for people to handle the content.
Now that actually brings me up. That actually segues really well into something that I wanted to discuss with you today, and that is, we have people like myself, or like a lot of the other soldiers that we have, people who are supporting what we're doing, despite all the shit that gets said to them, the adversity and all that. What's your message to these people? What do we how do you keep them inspired? How do we make sure that their contribution doesn't go unnoticed?
Their contribution and nobody's contribution can go unnoticed if the contribution is absolute. There's really no way, even if someone joins your team, there's really no way to keep them on your team. They just have to trust you.
Right.
And even if they don't trust you enough to be a part of it, you can still move forward. You just have to be the example. I think burnout for a lot of people happens when there's too many people kind of backing each other instead of the person that's kind of trying to get through to be the leading door for everyone else. I think a lot of people, like especially in my case, just got confused on this idea that I was just trying to come up off of them and get all of this respect and leave. I was just trying to help my community eat and the people that supported me, and I wanted people to see that there is another side of life and that you don't have to depend on whatever's around you now and the resources there to get it. You have to explore. And I'm doing everything by the book, clearly. And, like you said, it's just been constant attacks. I mean, you're clearly at that point dealing with people who just simply don't want you to get where you earned.
Right. I mean, you'll have people, I remember in one of the group chats, they're calling you cotton picker and all that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. And then they'll call you homeless. You have a home. You've shown people pictures of it. Like, you posted videos of yourself talking, and you're inside your home. You haven't been living on the street. You did live on the street, but now you haven't been for some time now. Mm-hmm. There's evidence of that. There's evidence that people listen to the music. There's evidence that people like it. Mm-hmm. Hence,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when there is a plot, when there is an actual plot, you can show them that you can walk on water. And what do they say is because they'll just say you can't swim. You can turn water into wine in front of their faces, and they'll just say it's because you're an alcoholic, dude. When there's a plot, these are people who are manipulating the minds of other people by grouping up and saying, hey, this is the cool thing. If you're not a part of this clique and what we think, then we exclude you. You're not one of us. Right. So when we say that person's bad, stay away from him. If you do get near him, we won't be your friend. Mm-hmm. It shows a mindset that depends on the validation of other people they weren't even born with. And even if you were born with that person he's not perfect either. He's got sin, she's got sin. Right. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a hive mind almost with these people.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's a hive mind.
I mean, we were given free will for a reason. This is... Honestly, I feel like the people who are even capable of independent thought, who are capable of seeing, hey, let me go and check this kind of thing out for myself and not just listen to what other people are telling me, those are really the only kind of humans there, I feel like. Because we were given free will for a reason, and a huge portion of society just chucks that away in favor of just taking the word or the validation of others.
People would rather be, people would rather be the sheep than the food. You see what I'm saying?
The sheep and the wolf, I think.
No, I meant what I said. They'd rather be the sheep.
Oh, I don't think I heard that phrase before.
Yeah, they'd rather be the sheep than the food. The sheep has a sheep herder. The sheep also has guardians. See what I'm saying? The sheep eat food, do they not? They'd rather be the sheep being guarded by everyone else instead of the food that the sheep are eating. They're all just a bunch of sheep trying to feast off of my soul. You know what I'm saying? Right. Meanwhile, they're not realizing you think you're going to empty me out. There's plenty to go around for everyone. You didn't have to steal all of this. You could have let me introduce myself. I would have gave you some.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even just that. Because listen, when they pulled those plots, when they did what they did, it wasn't just them talking. The reason why they got away with what they did is screenshots. How do you think they learned it? I'm the one that showed them because I was screenshotting everything they started saying to me. I started screenshotting it, and then they started making fun of me, like, why are you screenshotting what kids are saying? And I was like, first of all, I didn't even know they were kids. It's Snapchat.
Right.
You can make a cartoon face. There's no age on the thing when you look at the profile. I don't know any of this. You're hitting me up. You're saying you're a fan. You like the music. I am so appreciative of that. I'm not gonna be an asshole. I don't care what your age is. You're showing appreciation towards my talents and the things I work hard for.
Right.
Then you add me in these group chats. You start talking shit. I start screenshotting things. You make fun of the screenshots. You know what I'm saying? So they started screenshotting things I was saying and saving them.
Right. And
so that in the case that the turntables would turn on them, they start every time I put out. Think about it. We got this new film coming out, right? Everybody's looking at it. Same thing with my music. Why is it every time I say I got something coming out, they come out with these old screenshots that were fabricated? Listen, Photoshop, let me tell you what they do, because they did this to me in a group chat. They showed me one of the pictures and I figured it out.
Right.
They showed me one of my pictures and they had said something over what I had actually said. It made it seem like I was hitting on people and saying things.
Right.
And it was like, when I'm looking deep underneath the words that were there to see my original words, I was like, now either this generation is really that dumb that they don't know how to like see shit like that, or they wanted this and they were showing it to anybody who was not as mobile efficient or computer efficient. So what they're doing is they're taking, and it's not even just that. This was all planned out by these kids in the community. So whenever I get into it, somebody comes and starts a fight with me, right? It happens all the time. I actually have dreams now that people just come up and start shit with me now because I'm so used to it.
Right.
But like they'll come up to me on the street, start talking shit, I go off, cops come, and that's the part where everybody starts pulling out their cell phone. They didn't pull their cell phone out when this guy came at me, but when the cops come, that's when they're starting to pull out their cell phone. Then they go in their Snapchat, they go in their group chats, and they change the actual story.
Right.
Why is the oldest trick in the book not the thing that people are thinking about?
Yeah, that's true.
You cannot have communities.
They don't want to think about it.
You cannot have communities of people talking down on one person and not have at least one person come up to him and be like, bro, like, what's going on? Because that hasn't happened. So how is it not a plot? Why would everybody stay away from you and say everything to everyone else about you but you? Why is everybody showing everybody else those screenshots but me? Because if they publicly came into like a Starbucks or something and did it in front of me, they know goddamn well how it's gonna go down. They know that everything, because what they're not doing, if they're screenshotting a reaction that I made from something they said about me, or when they posted my mother's address online, what they did was they didn't show nobody that shit. They only showed them the part where I responded. Then they added that with pictures I was posting that they were screenshotting on my stories or whatever. And then they started switching words around and saying things.
Right.
The video where I'm acting and I'm displaying my acting skills, somebody cut a part of that video where I was telling people I'm about to do this part, and they made it look like I was crazy. That's why so many people got a hold of that particular video. That's why they go out and they create them scenarios on me, so it looks like I'm actually that person. You understand?
Yeah.
Now you get it. See, and you've been looking every time we go in that Starbucks, how they look at me, and I ain't even said a word. They look at me like, oh my God, this guy. How can you have a judgment on me when you just walked in?
Exactly.
When you just walked in. You don't know me and I've never met you, but now you're rolling your eyes at each other when you see me. You just walked in. What's the plot? It is so frustrating to be the only one in the whole entire community telling the truth, because the truth is what's going to determine how your future is going to be. If you're just going to be surrounded by people trying to hurt you because of what they think you did or what's fabricated. So they're trying to drive me crazy so that the shit looks confirmed. And honestly, that's actually another reason why some of these people be quitting on us at the last minute. They don't want to tell us, bro. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to tell us
that
they got to you too. You know what I'm saying? They got to you too. You know what I mean? People are afraid of a nigga that's real. I'm not like these people. I don't look like these people. I don't hide things like these people.
Right.
I'm not in the background doing all of this like these people. I am in the public doing this. And I've been doing it for the same 3 years that they've been doing it. And they don't even know who started it because it was that Jake guy. They don't even want to hear that story. It's not, they know what they're doing, bro. It doesn't matter if I'm innocent or not, bro. This is going to keep up, and I'm going to keep fighting.
Right. And you have to. I mean, that's how you win. They're gonna run out of shit eventually. Somebody's gonna realize we fucked up. And
some of them already have, but they're scared because then it's gonna become a bunch of people coming to them. Why did you tell us this man was criminal-minded? He's not even in jail. He hasn't been in jail.
Right.
Why is he running around healthy as fuck?
Healthier
boxing and everything.
Healthier than anybody else in the community.
You told us he was gonna be sickly when we seen him. You told us this man was sickly. Why is this man making money and going to Starbucks? You know, like you told us he was broke. Why is this man doing videos in his home? You told us he was homeless.
Exactly.
Eventually, it's all somebody smart. It's all gonna pile up, and what's in the darkness always comes to the light, baby.
Right, and it's gonna pile up faster because now that we have all of these things going on, now that we're putting out this kind of thing, it's gonna increase the rate that this kind of thing happens. So we gotta keep fighting. We gotta do this movie. We gotta do this podcast. We gotta do the album.
It's a grind, and I'm probably the only one out of the whole crew that just don't sleep. I'm literally running on 5 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. 5 hours.
You don't eat much either.
Yeah, no, I don't. Not anymore. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just, especially the events I haven't talked about that went down on Saturday, man. I just haven't been hungry and just grinded. My body doesn't even want to eat no more until this grind is up. Until something, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like, until we really got a lot of this moving forward. We just had a problem with these crew members, these people. We came randomly on people that were living their lives and said, hey, come help us make history.
Right.
And you don't just wake up and say, hey, I'm gonna go make history because somebody came and said, hey, let's make history. You still gotta go to work. You still gotta go to school. You still gotta do what you gotta do during the day. We came into these people's regular lives like that. They weren't open and looking around. They weren't filing applications for this. You know what I'm saying? So we're dealing with the daily lives of other people's schedules, and that's the part of making a film or anything that stalls things out the longest. Is
right.
The people.
Especially as an independent.
As an independent, yeah.
Like you explained to these people, we're not universal. We have our own timetables, and we got to work around that kind of thing.
Exactly. But in any event, it's like I say, those kids. I mean, they were my fans. Hit me up in Snapchat and all that shit. Now I see why they were only hitting me up on Snapchat. They weren't going on my Facebook. They weren't going on my Twitter. They weren't going on my Instagram. Because Snapchat's very private. You don't know who's talking to who on what.
Right.
So it's a playground for damage. A lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how it started. I mean, Jake was the one that started it. He went around. He was mad. Jake was all pissed off. We used to be friends or whatever. Jake got all pissed off because I was still doing music. I was working on this album. He was running around giving these kids money on the street. When he would, come around the corner, he'd give them like $5, $10. He'd come into Starbucks, literally, when I was in there, giving these kids money and shit, like he was spreading like some kind of campaign.
Right.
And then I actually had asked Starbucks one day. I said, why do y'all let him just run around giving these children money? They were like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, I'm just working here. I'm not allowed. I can't say anything unless he harms somebody and shit. And I'm like, no. What are you gonna do? You're gonna wait till he gives a kid money, or you're gonna wait until he gives a kid a lollipop to realize what's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or wait until he gives a kid a black eye or something.
A complete stranger is running up to kids as a complete stranger and giving them money, and Starbucks sat on it like it was. And I'm just looking around like, are all you people cowards? This is why shit gets gotten away with. This is somebody's daughter. And a parent doesn't even know what's happening. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm looking at it from a real point of view in that moment. And one day I just had to question Jake on it. Like, what's going on, bro? Like, I see the way you look at these little girls and shit. I've seen it, bro. Like, you be too obsessed. You be trying to hang out with me because you know they associate with me. You was trying to gain popularity off of me to get to them.
Right.
And I started to finally notice it. And one day I confronted him on it, and we almost got into a fist fight in front of Starbucks. And ever since then, he was determined every single day to be right there at Starbucks at approximately 3 o'clock when he knew the kids were coming out, so he can go talk to the children when I wasn't around, or if I'm sitting in Starbucks writing or whatever, and he'd sit outside in the chair and look at me while he was outside in the chair through the window and try to have little stare contact with me that just, I didn't care, you know, I'm on a laptop. But he'd go talking to the kids, bro, and he'd always tell them stuff about me. I'd be sitting outside knowing he's talking about me, right. And that's how they all started to turn on me. But it was a big debate between me and Jake. So all these kids were coming up like, are you real? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, you don't understand. Like, I busted Jake on some things. I was explaining, listen, I busted Jake on some things. Just stay away from him, dude. Like, you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? So everything that I was telling them about Jake, which was the truth, he flipped back on me. And instead of them believing the person that told the truth, they just trusted him. Right. That's ever since then, I honestly will tell you, I feel like there is subconscious racism in this town. I mean, for a man who was already running around giving children money, how could you just immediately disprove what I'm saying as a lie? There's no way.
Right. I mean, there's more reason to believe that he's a pedophile more than you, because I mean, why else is he giving people money? That's a little shady. No matter what angle you want to spin it, it's shady as fuck that he's waiting for the kids to get out and giving them money and talking shit about someone.
Dude, if it was you and I was around you and I had all of this and I had all of these fans and I had all these people around me and all these kids flocking to my light, right? Or you had that, right? And I'm standing there and you had that light, right? And they're all flocking to you and all of this stuff. And I come along and I see that, right? Mm-hmm. Now imagine me coming around when I know that you are going to be there at a certain time, when I know other people are going to be there every time after that, just to tell them about you.
Right.
Just to go, here, have $5. You see that guy over there, though? He's broke. That's what he was doing, literally. Giving them money to prove that he had money. He would walk in there. See, his brain doesn't function in a slicker way. So he's in there like telling people, like, yeah, I got money. I don't worry about it and shit. Because me and him had a debate. He's like, you're on welfare. You make Social Security. I said, that sounds like something racist people would say. That I'm on welfare. That sounds racist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Coming out of somebody's mouth who at the time thought he was supporting Trump because he believed Trump was for only whites. See what I'm saying?
Right. And then
so his political attitude was affecting his ability to be rational with somebody who was rational.
Right. And fast forward to now, we had like
Jake's
huge. Yeah, Jake's dead. And meanwhile, this time Trump gained big time with minority voters. Pretty much every single minority in this election.
You don't bail out a bunch of rappers and then be called a racist. You know, like, come on, man. Yeah. You don't pardon a bunch of rappers and then say, "Oh, that guy's racist."
Kodak.
Man.
He tried to get A$AP Rocky out of when he, got arrested in Sweden.
You know,
I'm pretty sure A$AP Rocky doesn't even like Trump, despite that. Like,
yeah.
Trump's on Twitter saying A$AP Rocky should return home and everything, and I'm pretty sure A$AP doesn't even like Trump for that.
I don't keep up with a lot of these guys anymore, man. A lot of these other rappers right now, and I'm not saying that on a big-headed light, but I keep hearing this music and it just seems garbage to me. If your music is garbage, I don't follow you. When we were young, there was magazines, we actually got to know the artist. We even got to know who the producer was that made the beat for the artist. See, kids don't know that shit like we did when we were kids. When we were kids, we knew the producer. It was all in the magazines. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have so many choices of music to where we didn't even have time to study, hey, who's the producer that made this beat?
Yeah, or if you buy the physical, record, it'll have more information on it. Now I can just go on YouTube and search whatever fucking future Playboy Cardi. I don't know the story behind it. I don't know. I don't know who made this song. I don't know. These days I can't even understand what the hell he's saying because it's all noise, especially with Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
It's all noise these days. But I see what you're saying. There used to be a story behind shit. There used to have different things that you valued when it comes to music.
And I also just want to say, guys, like I said, Jake's dead, okay? I told people before he died, stop paying attention to what someone says and pay attention to the tragedies they have or lack of after they've said it on somebody. After they've put bad words and curse words on a innocent man or a good man's mouth, watch what happens to them. Because even if that man over there was homeless or whatever, good chances, just like what happened to me, he'll still be homeless, but he'll be alive. See, I ain't homeless no more. This man, Jake, was running around telling all the kids, this is how it started 3 years ago. This man, Jake, was running around telling these kids this and that, right? And then he ended up in a situation where he put himself in a situation. He was gonna get kicked out of his apartment. His apartment was above Starbucks. He was gonna get kicked out, and he was on his way to jail for attacking a police officer. I guess his mother was with him, and the cop said something to the extent of, you should have raised him better, and then Jake snapped and I guess tried to pull him out of the car or some shit. I heard the whole detailed story. So on top of all of that, he was on his way to jail. So think about that. He was telling everybody I was a troublemaker and a criminal. Then who was about to be on his way to jail? He couldn't clean his apartment. He was always drunk. He left beer bottles all over the place, even in the hallway. He was on his way to getting kicked out, right? So who was about to be the one on his way to being homeless after making fun of me? Double whammy. I'm telling you, God doesn't play about people. The reason why I believe God took him, or he took himself, but I believe the reason why God was punishing him the way that he was to put him in the same positions as me is because God must have known that somewhere down the line, a year or two later, it would get this bad with me. Like they say, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm, which means even if you don't touch somebody, at some point in time, they will be touched by something. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be very careful out there, guys, who you're talking down on. There's certain people in this world that God ain't playing about. There's certain people in this world that angels out here, that their spiritual guardians ain't playing, bro. Y'all be out here talking about y'all read the Bible and that you good people, then why is it that what I'm saying sounds so schizophrenic to you?
Exactly. And this shit that we've been predicting, why are you surprised that it's coming true?
Jake is dead, guys. I thought that would have taught y'all the lesson, but clearly you don't know how he died, so that's why I'm telling you the story. He died doing the exact same thing that y'all are carrying the torch over. So understand one thing. When you can die tonight. You can die tomorrow, guys. I don't care how old you are. Drowning, plane crash, hit by a car.
Stroke.
There's 6 million ways to die. There are 6 million ways to die, guys. And it's very easy to fall into one very fast. When you treat people a certain way, on the day you die, you're immortalized as that. The energy that you leave behind will either be positive or negative. And no matter how much of a good person other people thought you were, because a lot of people manipulate and try to be nice to people so they can manipulate, whatever. No matter how nice to people you may have been, a lot of times with these kind of people like Jake, the nicest was false to get what those people wanted, whether it's money or anything. But the people that you treated the worst, that energy will be who you are forever. Not only that, when you die, they get to piss on your grave, they get to kick it, they get to smoke a blunt and burn it out on your ash, on your
Tombstone.
I was gonna say the grass, but tombstone. You know what I mean? All's fair in love and war, homie. That's the way it is, man. So you better be careful, because once you treat somebody in a certain way, with a certain negative mindset, you have set the position of place where the clock is ticking for the both of you. And I'm an older person. I was constantly attacked by, it was 2 adults they carried the torch through a bunch of other kids. You know? And it's weird because I'm a weirdo because these kids were coming up to me and being fans, and I talked to them, but on the outside looking in, you just saw me talking to kids.
Right.
But you all let Jake and all these people give him money. They're going to tell you everything this brother did, but they're not going to tell you what this white dude did who's dead now.
Yeah, I mean...
Of course that looks like racism. Because they watch too much TV. Black people will always be known as gangbangers, drug dealers, troublemakers, baby makers, this and that and the other thing. Subconsciously, that becomes implanted in white people's mind, especially at youth when they watch so much TV and the news always putting us out as killers and shit like that all the time. Even if they're not consciously, it's in the back of their mind subconsciously. So now when an innocent black man in their community is being ridiculed by several people in their community that don't look like him, well, that's the subconscious factor. They won't, I'm putting it in words. They won't subconsciously recognize it as that. So what I'm actually saying will make them think, oh, he's trying to say we're bad people. No, this is actually how it is. I'm just putting it in words. People are mad at me at this point because my words are matching up with their actions. But it wasn't a problem as long as you could just say whatever you wanted to anybody about me and smear campaign me and destroy whatever my wants and needs were.
Right, but guess what? Now you can't get away with that shit anymore.
More people are following up, man. There are people driving through here the same way as you're doing. I don't know what made you people think I ain't had soldiers out there. But slowly but surely, they're growing. And what's in the dark, like I say, comes to the light. This shit will get out there. People do before I say by the time we're done, I don't ask for no apologies. Now, once I prove y'all right, you owe me an apology. Western Springs owes me an apology. LaGrange, Illinois, and LaGrange Park will owe me an apology. Broadview will owe me an apology, especially since I run the food pantry that feeds the homeless there. Y'all don't even know I do that because I was homeless for 20 years. I want to do right by the people who lived the way that I did. Y'all are going to owe me a lot of apologies. I want those apologies. I want to hear them. I want you to say that shit on a fucking bullhorn. I want you to drive past in helicopters with banners that say, JX Phantom, I apologize.
And when you do that, you better acknowledge all the shit you did.
I want the most beautiful white women in LaGrange to be just ready to drop their panties and give me a little bit of head too on top of it as an apology for all the times you pretended like I didn't exist because of the rumors and the lies that you believed. I want it all. It's been 3 years of pain that I've dealt with you, and once you realize I was right and that y'all were wrong and that you got the wrong person and caused harm to the wrong person, I want 3 years worth of satisfaction out of you. 3 years worth. Oh, but that you can believe, baby. But that you can believe. That's that for Talk 1000 Podcast.
All right, it was a pleasure to be on. You know, I'm happy to come on more often. And it was a pleasure to talk to all of you. You know, I hope that I am just the first of many guests on here. Next episode, I'm expecting to see someone I know on here. I hope that happens.
Most definitely, man. All right, y'all, we gotta get up out of here. My man's here's got his own thing to do, and Daddy right here is about to go to work and get drunk. So.
All right.
Again, the new human revolution is the new human.
The
new
revolution.
No, the new mental revolution is the new human evolution.
There we go.
All right, y'all. We are out of here. I will get that right at this point, man. How you create something and then fuck it up? All right, y'all. Well, I can't complain because sometimes I don't practice lyrics. I go to the studio and I'm just like, fuck, and then the producer